disrespect.
Trauma.
Traumatizing.
Disgusting. Intolerable.
Abusive. Trauma. Inappropriate.
Traumatizing.
Gross. Sabilitan. Crime. Sin. Harassment is defined to be anything unwanted. In the corporate world, there is a rising ethical issue that must be looked into because it creates a hostile environment and unhealthy workplace for the employees. This problem is called sexual harassment. It occurs due to the power struggle between men and women.
If we talk about sexual harassment, it pertains to more of the sexual part. Sexual harassment is basically, it is practicing something that is obscene, that is not tolerable in the community, where it instigates an act of sexual indications.
Republic Act Number 7877 defines sexual harassment as employer, employee, manager, supervisor, agent of the employer, teacher, instructor, coach, trainer, or any other person having authority, influence, or moral ascendancy over another. Any work or training or education environment demands, requests, or otherwise requires any sexual favor from the other regardless of whether the demand, request, or requirement for submission is accepted by the object of said act.
There are two types of sexual harassment. The first one is quid pro quo, and the second is harassment that creates a hostile environment. Quid pro quo means this for that or something for something, and it is derived as requiring a sexual favor or interaction as a condition of employment or in exchange for an employment benefit.
So pag sinabi natin na sexual harassment ayon sa batas, ito ay ang bibigay o pagkakaroon ng mga sexual advancement sa isang tao in consideration or in exchange for a favor, like pagtanggap sa trabaho or promotion or pagbibigay ng mataas na grado sa isang estudyante.
On the other hand, the hostile environment includes verbal, physical, and visual contacts that create an intimidating, offensive, or hostile environment in the workplace that interferes with work performance.
First, the victim, it's the same feeling with the bullied victim. They do not know what to do. Second, they don't know how to defend themselves. Third, iisipin niya, bakit ako ginaganito? Why only me? How come not my other office mate? Ano meron sa akin? Ito na, self-pity, yung self-confidence niya lumababa. Now, mag-ano na siya, no? I-evaluate niya na yung sarili niya hanggang sa, iniisip niya na siya na yung mali. Alam mo yun, in the process of thinking.
The victim and the harasser may be a man or a woman. The victim does not have to be of the opposite sex. Sexual harassment may occur from a man to woman, woman to man to man, and woman to woman. It can happen regardless of someone's gender.
Para na-objectify both genders kasi hindi na-limit yung sexual harassment sa women, it can also happen to men. And it can also happen to anyone, regardless of who you.
The harasser can be the victim's supervisor, an agent of the employer, a supervisor in another area, a co-worker, or an unemployed.
Nung nag-affect sa akin, syempre nagiging, na-off ako, sobra. Na medyo lumalayo talaga ako. Ayoko talaga lumapit. Pag meron na akong tanong, pinapasuyo ko nun sa, which is my ex-work na, pinapasuyo ko sa kanya. Ay, tanong mo naman kay sir, ganyan. O kaya, dinadaan ko through chats. But the thing is, kahit daan ko siya through chats, meron kasi mga message na, baby, gano'n, uy babe, parang more on, like, pang intimate yung tawag.
Go.
The victim does not have to be the person harassed, but could be anyone affected by the offensive conduct.
For me, it's for Epeka, it's a trauma. Kasi I have a friend na sexual harassment siya ng parents niya and yung isa naman is a cousin niya. So, dala niya hanggang pagdalawa.
The harasser's conduct must be unwelcome.
Such experience to me, the effects are like, it traumatized me, and like, if I say traumatized, it scarred me for life, especially because I was, and I still am, a minor. I am 17 years of age, haven't even reached the peak of 17 when it happened to me.
A typical person who is always harassing is sometimes insecure, sometimes is needing for power, or sometimes psychologically, something wrong psychologically, because there's a certain urge that they wanted to achieve. You cannot say that the victim is someone who is weak. Well, somehow, medyo weak. No? Meaning to say, ano ibig sabihin ng weak? Yung cannot handle the situation. If the person is nervous already about how the other person is treating her, there's a tendency for her to be quiet, doesn't know what to do. Will she retaliate or not? Will she tell someone or not? So yun.
Sexual harassment causes a low morale among employees as they experience annoyance, fear, and degradation. It may result in decreasing productivity due to incapability to perform well. There are incidents that employee may encounter in the workplace. Sexual harassment may result into a very costly lawsuit, dreadful and publicity, and ruin the image of an organization that took years to establish. Additionally, this causes law employees who may experience annoyance, fear, and being degraded.
Oneself must address this issue for it to be resolved. It is essential for the victim to directly inform the harasser that the conduct is unwelcome and must stop. The victim should use any employer complaint mechanism or grievance system available.
It is significant for an organization to take action in creating a safe, secure, and positive working environment. Hence, practicing a strong sexual harassment policy is essential in preventing sexual harassment in workplace.
Well, we have a very, very clear policy on this that is part of the Human Resource Manual, wherein whenever there are complaints pertaining to sexual harassment, we are following different procedures and approaches.
Some of this includes, first, a broad anti-harassment or positive environmental policy that includes statement that specifically addresses sexual harassment. And the second is a separate sexual harassment policy that can cover all the organizational members. And the lastly is separate sexual harassment policy that addresses non-management employees and one that addresses employees.
Well, say for example, once there is a complaint that has been received by the department, we are going to create a fact-finding committee wherein the investigating officer shall examine the complaint affidavit, and the complaint has to be transmitted and hand for the preliminary investigation report within 7 days. So we have a very, very clear indication of our process when it comes to dealing with sexual harassment here in the university. And the committee on the coding, on investigation, we call it coding, will be the one to investigate the situation, whether it is there is really an occurrence of the sexual harassment.
The Congress of the Philippines enacted the Anti-Sexual Act of 1995 or the Republic Act 7877, declaring sexual harassment unlawful in employment, education, or training environment.
Republic Act number 7877 defines sexual harassment as employer, employee, manager, supervisor, agent of the employer, teacher, instructor, coach, trainer, or any other person having authority, influence, or moral ascendancy over another. Any work or training or education environment demands, requests, or otherwise requires any sexual favor from the other regardless of whether the demand, request, or requirement for submission is accepted by the object of said act.
What are the legal implications of sexual harassment in the Philippines? Well, if you violate the Anti-Sexual Harassment Act, well, it's a criminal case in a special penal law. So, ibig sabihin ito, if you committed it and you were convicted for sexual harassment, there is a penalty of imprisonment and fine as well. Dapat may amendment siya. Kasi ang sakop lang ng batas ay sexual harassment in workplace and in school. Kumbaga, ito yung mga sexual advances na nakukumit ng mga boss sa trabaho sa kanilang mga hawak na tao at sexual advancement na nakukumit ng mga teachers or trainers sa kanilang mga estudyante o tinitraining ng mga empleyado. So, siguro yung amendment or revision dito, sana ma-include yung mga sexual advancements na nagaganap o nagagawa o nakukumit ng mga tao na hindi konektado sa kanilang trabaho o sa kanilang pag-aaral o eskwela. At isa pa, na sanang na pwedeng i-amend dito sa batas na ito kasi sa Republic Act 7877 ng Anti-Sexual Harassment Act, pagka nakapatunayan kang nag-violate ng Anti-Sexual Harassment Act, you will be imprisoned for a minimum of 30 days, maximum of 6 months. So, masyadong mababa yung jail term for such an act. So, siguro mas taasan pa yung penalty.
I think mas naging takot ako na parang mag-isa, like pag panggabi yung skin ko. Ganun. Kasi hindi naman panggabi lang yung sexual harassment, pero mas talamak siya sa gabi. Siguro sa pananamit, yung way ko ng pananamit talaga sa isa. Like yung mga short shorts, mga ganun. Ngayon po hindi na. Ako yung mismo yung naka-experience ng person. Wala akong magawa. Like, natatakot. Ngayon natatakot pa rin ako sumakay din hanggang ngayon dahil sa experience na.
For some reasons, I became traumatized. Parang bilang babae, parang mawawalan ka ng confidence sa sarili, hindi mo na maisusuot kung ano yung mga gusto mong suot. Siyempre, para maiwasan yung mga bagay na yun, iwasan mo na lang yung mga bagay na gusto mo.
Naging mas cautious ako sa paligid ko. Hindi na ako yung kasing carefree, gano'n. Kasi sa bawat galaw, parang andun pa rin yung risk na baka mas sexually harass ulit, gano'n. Parang naiisip mo bilang babae, wala nang safe place dito sa kaya parang sobrang nakaka-trauma kapag naka-experience ng sexual harass. Tapos yun yung naging
Parang nag-iba yung pananamit ko, mas conservative na ako. Natatakot na din ako sa mga males, and which is wrong.
Any forms of harassment is legally and morally wrong. Sexual harassment is illegal and unethical. Everyone, regardless of their identities and characteristics, is entitled to their own rights. You have every right to speak up whenever you are being held against your will.
What is your message message to those sexual harassment victims who haven't spoken yet?
Well, it is really very important that in order for them to receive and find justice in whatever they have encountered, it is really very important that they try to be proactive, the word proactive, in terms of making sure that the culprit is being investigated in due process, and at the same time, if they are really firm in their complaint, they have to prove it with proper and substantial evidence, so that the culprit will be punished, and he or she should face the consequences of it, both here in the community, in the university, and also the civil and legal, the criminal liability. Because this policy is also following the mandate of the Republic Act number 7877, which is known as the Anti-Sexual Harassment Act of 1995. And we also have the revised rules and regulation to implement the Anti-Sexual Harassment Act of 1995 on campuses and in the workplace, since this is an academic institution. We also have the Presidential Decree number 442, as amended otherwise as the Labor Code of the Philippines, that is stated in our Labor Code. The manual and the regulation of the private higher education of 2008, and there are laws which are promulgated in CHED. And of course, we have that one as well stated in our faculty manual and the non-teaching personnel manual.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, you actually have to speak up. This is a violation of your right. And syempre, hindi naman maganda. Nasa sarili mo lang yan. You have the right to speak up. So, para na rin mapunish yung mga gumagawa ng ganyang mga bagay. Kasi nga, the reason why this law was enacted, it's because to protect the workers from sexual advancements of their superiors in exchange for any consideration, like promotion or hiring. So you have to speak up. Parang matsawata o matigil o mabigyang halaga yung essence ng batas.